That's definitely a deer out there. Cool. When in Michigan, right? Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I know I'm doing great. My last video took off pretty well. I was not expecting that, so thank you everyone for the likes, comments, and support on my last video reviewing the R5C. But I had a lot of you guys in the comments and even in my DMs asking me more about the rigs that I'm using, or how I set it all up, and what is my solution for the batteries, because the battery life is really bad on this camera, and I'm going to show you a couple solutions that I have for that and the rigs that I use and when I use those rigs and why I use those specific rigs. So let's get into it. So when it comes to a rig, I know that I need something that is reliable and keeps me efficient throughout the day. I don't want to think about my battery dying. I don't want to think about something failing or things getting out of focus, and I want to have peripherals. I want to have tools equipped to my camera to help me make sure that I am getting the most out of like the day that I'm documenting. As a wedding filmmaker, you really only get one chance to get something, and if you mess up, you aren't getting that moment back. These are once in a lifetime memories, and it's our job to capture that and do that well, because these are memories that our couples are counting on us to get. So to have a camera where the battery isn't going to die, where I have a monitor up top that is going to show me like everything's in focus, everything is exposed well, I don't have to read off of a small like 3-inch screen, and to have a mic on there even to get me better scratch audio in case maybe something fails, like a task cam or whatnot, like something fails. I want to make sure that I have things that ensure like I'm getting the best quality footage that I can, the best audio that I can. So building out a rig that suits that and complements what my needs are is really important. I'm not just going to add something to make it look cool. I'm not going to add something that makes no sense. It has to work for me. Over the last month or so, I've been trying out multiple different things, and I have about 3 combinations of rigs that I really like, that I think just fit the bill perfectly for what I'm doing with weddings, what I'm doing with story sessions with our couples, and even when I'm traveling just for my own needs and I want to bring a nice camera and I want to like be able to get photos and videos with it. I have solutions for all of that, and I know that I'm taken care of. I am not going to lose or miss anything. So that gives me so much peace of mind to be able to do my job. So let's get into these rigs. First off, what I have is I do have my more minimal rig. This is using the Anton Bauer Titan base battery. This was my first choice when I bought the R5C. It is a great external battery. It comes off quickly. It has D-tap ports to power both a monitor and a camera. The only downside is that the capacity of this battery is not enough for a full wedding day. My first wedding that I shot with this, it lasted probably 4 hours into the day. We got just about to the ceremony and this was already dying, and I had to kind of charge it up and I had to start finding other batteries. Luckily I had backups, but this was not really doing me well on a full wedding day. Maybe if you bought 2 of them, but these get expensive. So this is not really my first choice when it comes to a full wedding day that's going to be anywhere between 8, 10, or 12 hours. But what I do love about this is that it's perfect for if I'm going on a session. We do a lot of story sessions with Shore and Summit where we are taking our couples out and we are interviewing them, understanding their story, taking them on a day date to places that mean something to them to really enhance the experience of their film that they get back. And those are usually a lot shorter sessions. Those can be anywhere between an hour to 3 hours sometimes, and this battery is perfect for that. So I will definitely be using this for that. I also really like this for travel. Later this year, my wife and I are going to Spain, and I'm just going to be bringing this rig right here. The Anton Bauer, the camera, and the lens, and that is it. Also, the cage that I have on this camera, this is the small rig Black Mamba cage. This is optional. You do not need this for this specific rig, but I like to keep it on there. It's just a little bit of added protection. It did also come with this cable clamp, so that's really nice. I don't have to worry about cables like popping out or getting damaged or anything. So this is kind of like the minimal rig. It's perfect for small, short run and gun sessions, or if you're traveling with your family or whatnot and you want to just have really stellar photos and videos, I would highly recommend this. But for weddings, I do have a couple other rigs that I like to use that give me much more peace of mind when it comes to the battery life, when it comes to audio and seeing the image on a screen. So I'm going to show you guys a couple more rigs as for what I use on an actual wedding day. Okay, so I think this next rig might be one of my new favorites. It's a much more stripped down rig than what you would expect. Something with like a big monitor, a top handle, battery in the back and everything. This rig just kind of really solves the problem of the battery life. It gives you better scratch audio, and it gives you just slightly better handling with a side handle that also articulates. I think that is really great because sometimes you're holding things low or up high, and without an articulating handle, your hands just get sore, it feels really awkward, and your footage just doesn't get as stable. So having this being able to move is a game changer. This rig, yeah, while it does not have a 7-inch or 5-inch monitor to see your image, make sure your exposure is good or your focus is good, I don't think it's as necessary. The screen on the R5C is absolutely amazing. It's completely bonkers how good it is. So I know I can trust it. I just know sometimes with a monitor, I can tell if the focus is hunting and whatnot, whereas the smaller monitor, it's really hard to tell that. But what's nice is though, this camera does have focus peaking. It does also have things like false color and waveforms so that you can check things still in camera and you don't necessarily need the tools of a monitor to do so. And if you are looking for something much more lightweight that you're gonna be lugging around with you, this might be perfect for you. What I have here is a small rig portable battery clamp mounted to the top of the cage. What it does, I'll show you here. This actually just comes right off, so this will spread out and you can put the battery right in here and it stays. Like, this is not going anywhere. You are going to have to do a lot of work just to get this to fall out. And then what I do have is a right angle to straight USB-C cable that's going right through here, and it's actually kind of fished right through one of the holes of the cage, which actually was the perfect size just to kind of keep the cable out of the way, and it wraps into the USB-C port on the camera. And then we also have the Rode mic in the cold shoe port that was built into the cage, so there's no added accessories for a cold shoe. That's just right there going right into its mic jack, and then you just have this attached via a NATO clamp. So that's really nice. I'll even show you like how this looks when I'm using it. Let me take this off right here. So this is really good in the hands. You have a side handle right here, so handheld footage is just amazing. I think the image stabilization on this lens really just helps since there is no internal stabilization in the camera. But I am much more of a handheld shooter anyway, so like this is just perfect for me. It's very compact, it's not too heavy, and I know I'm gonna get really good stuff. I'm getting good backup audio. I'm not worrying about my battery dying, and I still have a screen that I can still fold out and even flip out, and it's not getting in the way. So I can shoot low, I can shoot high, and with the articulating arm, it just makes it a lot easier to like go low and just adjust that, or if I'm going high, adjust it right here. I highly recommend getting one of these handles. It's going to save your life basically. So that is the minimal rig that solves all the battery issues. The Anker battery really lasts the entire day. I have not had it die once, and I've done some 8, 10, 11 hour days, and I've only seen this get down to maybe like 20%. So I have no worries about that. If you are shooting longer, or for some reason you have this and the battery dies, I would just recommend maybe having 1 or 2 extra batteries for the camera just in case. That also gets me to another point that I forgot. If for some reason this dies, or maybe the cable gets unplugged, it will seamlessly go back over to your internal battery. So I would recommend having one of those in there. Actually, I don't even think you can power the camera with this if you don't at least have a battery in there. So that's really cool though, that if this gets unplugged, if something happens, it will seamlessly go over. It's not going to interrupt your recording or anything. and then you can just like swap this, you can make sure it's still working, or plug this back in, and it's just gonna start working perfectly. Like, that's a really amazing feature that Canon provided. And now, because of this, you can shoot 8K RAW, which is not necessary for a wedding, but you know, you do you. If you want to shoot an 8K RAW wedding, by all means. I'm not advising it. You can do that now because of the USB power delivery. In the previous rig with the Anton Bauer battery, that was going in via a dummy battery, and that was not supplying enough power for 8K, but you could still do 4K, which is stellar already. So that it's your choice how you want to do that, but I think this is a great rig if you want to do weddings, if you want to keep it lightweight, and you want to have the option to shoot in 8K RAW. This is a really cool compact rig. But now for the full-fledged mega rig kind of thing that I will be using at weddings as well. So let's get into that one. All right, here we are with the big rig. This is the full-fledged monster for the R5C. It is a little bit bulkier, but I'm still trying to keep it as compact and not like super like wide or tall or anything, just to not be too much of a distraction. But this is going to offer you everything that you could possibly want or need out of a rig. I'm going to show you a couple of the components here. So we did actually add a top handle with the small HD Focus 7 monitor. I'm gonna turn this around real quick and show you here what we got. So we added this small rig handle. It's connected via a NATO rail, and then we have the small HD Focus 7 on a small rig monitor arm. So this will actually articulate nicely, which gives me a better angle of view, and I really love that. I love the 7-inch monitor because it's just giving me all of the detail that I need. It's really bright, so in a lot of like direct sunlight, I can still see the screen just fine, whereas the little 3-inch screen on the camera is a little bit harder to see. But I do love this. I do not have a DTAP to NPF battery here, just because I'm not actually using a V-mount battery. I don't own any, that's why I'm using the Anker battery. It's actually a lot cheaper than getting most V-mount batteries, so that's why I'm using this. So I am using actual NPF batteries on this monitor, and that's fine with me. It adds just enough weight to help make the handheld footage just a little bit smoother. I don't normally like it when monitors are placed in the very top of the top handle, because then it just makes the whole rig a lot taller. It's a little bit more of an eyesore, and it can be very distracting, especially when you're filming intimate moments on a wedding day. So that was one of my goals, was to just make sure this still was fairly compact. It wasn't getting too much bigger, and I can like hold it close to me, and it's not going to raise any red flags. It's not going to make people like, oh, look at that, what's that, and like make them feel uncomfortable. This is still probably just the right size to still show up to a wedding with. So then one of the other additions to this rig, you can see that I moved the battery from up top to the back, and this is actually attached to a swivel arm that I found on Small Rig's website, that you just loosen this and you can just loosen that, and I have the portable battery clamp mounted on there, and then I can pull this down. I can still see the screen, make adjustments if I need to on there, but then I can bring this back up and tighten it. This is actually connected to a 15mm rod plate, which is also then lengthened with these 6-inch rods. These aren't necessarily essential, but it at least allows me to pull this out further if I want this in a different position. If maybe I want to like pull this all the way out and I want to lay this down, not really my cup of tea. It makes it look a little bit longer and a little bit more of an eyesore, so I will pull this out here. But that's why I added on at least another 6 inches, so I can adjust this if I want to. And then I do have a 15mm rod plate here, but what's really nice is that this is all connected with Arca Swiss plates and clamps. So if I wanted to take off this entire base plate, it's actually really quick and easy. I just have to loosen this plate clamp right here, and I can take this off. I'll just unplug the cable and I'm good to go. I'm a little bit more mobile now. I am running off of the internal camera battery, but if I need to just be a little bit lighter, or this is just getting in the way, I can take it off. I can do that real quick, and then I can just put it right back on, tighten the clamp, and then put the cable right back in the battery, and I am good to go. So really, this is honestly not a bad rig. I love this a lot. It is a bit heavier than the previous rigs, but if the weight isn't an issue for you, I would recommend something like this because you are going to be able to get everything that you need. You're not gonna be worrying about like running back to your back to switch something out or to grab something. It's still very compact. It's relatively lightweight in relation to like other handheld rigs, but it's still a bit beefy. So maybe do some gym workouts to bulk up your arms, maybe even your back a little bit, just to be able to handle this for a whole day. I know I need to go to the gym a little bit more too, so you gotta go, I gotta go, you know, we're in this together. But I can still hold this into my body. I can see the screen just fine. If I need to get a lower angle, I can tilt that. If I need to go a little bit higher, I can tilt it up a little bit more. It's a lot lower profile than most other rigs, so I think that's really nice, and it's not going to really get in the way. It's so nice to have the screen, especially in direct sunlight. I love having this entire rig just like built out to never have to worry about switching anything out and to just know that I am getting the shot that I need. One other thing that I do want to mention, and I didn't mention this earlier, is this lens. I am using a variable ND filter, so I don't even have to worry about like swapping those on, because I know the R5C does not have internal NDs, so I needed to find a solution for that. And I rarely ever take this 24-70 off, so therefore I never take this ND filter off. This is the SLR Magic variable ND filter. It's relatively affordable. I have not noticed any like bad color shifting in this. I haven't noticed too bad of vignetting with this. I really think this is a really good ND filter if you're in the market for something that may be a little less expensive than something like the Polar Pro or Moment ones. Check this one out. But I think that about wraps it up. Let me put this back on here. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really hope that this was inspirational for you when it comes to discerning like what you want out of a rig for the R5C or not. Also, comment down below which of these rigs was your favorite. I'm really interested to know. As well, if you are looking for more videos regarding the R5C, wedding videography, wedding photography, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, and you will be notified when the next video drops. But until next time, we'll see ya.